Likely probably going to be a triple DPS setup, but you never know for sure until the doors are open. Fusion Uni definitely, though, looking like they're going to commit to a triple DPS setup. And Gen.G, you see them getting ready to go here, and this is a quad DPS. I'm witnessing from Gen.G.
Quad DPS, send off the old era with the bang. Or in this case, the most divey thing imaginable. Gen.G is just going to be looking to get directly into the Fusion Uni backline immediately. Oberon can't get hacked. Oberon, isolated bit, 42 HP, nothing sadder than a hacked Doomfist, but able to just walk away.
And right now, it's really just a game of Sombras. The Sombras are looking to try to get a hack, try to find an isolation early. Both Bernard and Beast were hacked early, but they couldn't pick off any of them.
5-on-5, alarm already down. 4-on-4, and this is going to be a bit of chaos on both sides. Bernard, though, well protected over the top, lands mid-air rocket, looking for more. But Bernard under very heavy pressure. The ground line for Gen.G doing more work.
As of right now, though, the point presence is definitely in favor of Gen.G. The quad DPS strategy, even though it didn't necessarily get in the initial picks, they just really controlled the point a lot better. They isolated a lot of Fusion Uni's backline. They were able to find those picks. The trades were a lot better for Gen.G in that situation. Because trading, if you're Gen.G in that situation with 4 DPS, and Fusion Uni, especially when they're running a tank character with Bernard on that Hammond, it's a lot harder for them to find those picks.
Yeah, Beast on the Hammond right now, Bernard swapping over to the Brigida, and Fusion Uni, so they made some swaps to the Brigida, trying to deal with the dive a little bit more. Beast able to find Wui also, decent position, still over on the Wakid, and Fusion Uni up 2 as they rotate to that point. The question is, they're going to be able to fully remove Gen.G here. Overon in a world of hurt gets stuck with the Bionade, and Fusion Uni just one good pickoff after another, and this should be their point.
That's really all Fusion. That's all they needed. That's all they needed there was to get the Bernard onto the Brigida there. Against the quad DPS, Brigida just pretty much negates most of that power. But now Gen.G are just going to make the swap and play hero chess a bit. We all close to the EMP. Bliss will have beat as well. But Bliss, he has to be careful. He has to make sure not to be caught by Nice here on this engage. He's going to be looking to set up that EMP, look to set up the nade for alarm.
EMP used immediately by Nice Snillo. Pulse bomb out the other side, barrier. Used really for Gen.G, not enough to save Wakid. Snillo doing enough burst damage. Gen.G still diving in. Both Wakidas out of the fight, and Gen.G's comp just a lot stronger for rolling in the Fusion Uni.
Despite that nade combo setting up for Fusion Uni, it is going to be Gen.G triumphing here. Did have to invest the EMP, but worth it for them to get the flip. And just like you talked about ZP, at the end, their comp was just a lot better sustaining. They were able, as soon as they survived that initial engagement, only losing 1, they were still in a great spot. Now they get the flip here. Oberon going to be close to the Shatter as Fusion Uni making a swap to their own Beast, going back to the Reinhardt Silo onto the Brigida. But for Gen.G, their goal, just try to focus Beast Halo. Try to focus Beast Halo, maybe set up Oberon Shatter here. They have that early advantage. They will be close to the Nano as well.
Fusion Uni on a full 3-3 now. Beast Halo moving forward. Off the shield, looking for his counterpart. Oberon drops the hammer in response. Beast Halo's down. And advantage Gen.G, and not enough damage done to them either. Fusion Uni, they have to retreat. They're going to get about one more decent attempt at this.
But this is happening. Bernard, he's getting staggered. They've invested in Nano here as well. But Gen.G, they're just playing around their shield. They have a high energy Glister right now. He's just playing that Zarya. They're getting so much damage. Will have grab very, very soon. And Uni, they're going to continually stagger. They've lost more time off the clock. And no, they don't have a Nano now for the EMP. They don't have a Nano to survive this upcoming fight. Elk does not have beat just yet. This is a rough position to be in for Fusion University. They have to find some value here, not all get caught.
We all at the EMP, just going to be jumping over the top. Graviton already used. Nice out of the fight. And that is a clean engage to end the round here for Gen.G, where I'm just confused at Fusion Uni, where, okay, Beast Halo dies early, you don't get the early pickup onto the other Ryan, instead you lose a Ryan of your own. Just back out. Why would they stay into the degree that they could get baited into that fight where it basically deprived them of having a good final fight?
Taking the mantra of every fight is winnable a little too far there, because not all fights are winnable. They are not. It's just the simple fact. They are not all winnable unless the enemy makes a huge mistake, and for that position, Gen.G, we're not going to... They have to have a comedy of unforced errors for them to ever lose that fight to what Fusion University committed to. So now Gen.G being up 1 now in the series as we move into our second stage of Busan. Fusion University, they made some good adjustments. It's rather how do they deal with the ult economy game, because that's what we saw there, is that they just committed to fights they shouldn't have.
Well, we're going to have a pretty big disparity in compositions here where Gen.G potentially rolling out here on Pharah Widow. And Fusion Uni, they're going to be putting a lot of faith in Nice to take the Pharah out of the sky, but generally speaking, this is a risky composition to run versus the Pharah Widow, usually more reliable.
Definitely making sure they need to deny Glister's off angles or at least play their shield well so the off angles don't matter. For Fusion University, they're just going to play slow, try to find some isolation. You see already that flashbang along with the bash come out to Oberon, but not able to get the pick. As Gen.G sets up, they're spamming every angle that they can, trying to get poke damage, trying to build up those ults. But Fusion University's comp is definitely much more suited towards controlling the point. So Gen.G, they need to find a pick here if they're really going to look to contest.
And nice, gets Wakid. That's why he played the McCree, and so far it's working out. Looks for creative, finishes him off. And this is what has to happen when you're running McCree in the sep. Nice, has to be doing what he's doing right now. You need high value off McCree, and so far, the gambit for Fusion Uni is paying off.
And for Gen.G, they just couldn't isolate Nice because part of the reason was that Snillo and Elk were just rotating along with Nice. Wherever he went, they had Oberon Bernard, or rather I should say Beasttail Bernard, contesting the point, getting that point presence against Gen.G, which split their focus while they just moved their backline around with Nice, looking for the picks.
And that's the part that you don't always get when you run McCree comp, is that it's difficult for the McCree to get pickoffs. It's why that usually swapping McCree in a lot of situations for teams historically is, you've got McCree, I don't know if this is going to work out. Nice though. Attacked early on. Gen.G still looking for an opening, but it's still difficult given that Fusion Uni has secured really good positioning here.
If Gen.G doesn't get a pick, they're relying on Wuyall to get the EMP, to get the opening they need for Gen.G to move in. But the real question is, how does Gen.G follow up off the EMPs? You see Oberon now making the swap off of Arista, going back to Hammond, realizing that really if you're going to follow up on an EMP, you're going to need some mobility. You're going to need something here to actually get yourself in position, as Alarm's currently hacked, and Gen.G are going to move in.
Gen.G trying to apply a little bit of point pressure. We already the EMP, a moment's notice. But all the while, progress going up for Fusion Uni, already 65%. Oberon in danger, just getting chased down. Might be able to roll away from this, but this is not ideal for Gen.G so far.
They forced the Transcendence though. I think he just forced Transcendence, or maybe it was also Glister putting some pressure onto Alarm there, hoping, worried about the headshot. And Alarm drops that early Transcendence, and Nice is down. So this is Gen.G's opportunity. They shouldn't even have to invest EMP. Just play slow. Well, they are going to invest it anyways.
Alarm gets revenge, but I think forced out the EMP from Wuyall. Gen.G moving in off of it. They wanted to be sure, and frankly, because of the pickoff that Alarm got onto Widow, I think that they just weren't confident in their ability to win without the EMP, so they invested. They're going to get the point back, but this is an enormous amount of time for Fusion Uni to come back in and retake.
Enormous time and enormous cost, because if you look at Fusion University, they're just going to make a swap. They're going to make a swap, put Beast now onto the Winston and Nice onto the Zarya with Alarm going Moirai, so they're playing a counter now for the triple DPS. They know there's no EMP, they can play very Deathball centric and just look for the focus, look to control the point.
Call driver opening, Oberon gonna lay down the mines. Glister connects on the Still on the other side, and Fusion Uni's fully split because of these mines. The rest of them forced into the corner, and this is so beneficial to Gen.G, and I think Fusion Uni should be looking for the exit button right now.
That is exactly what they will be doing as Elk. He's slowly but surely, he's a hack Lucio. It's such a sad time to be as you scoot along there. Your Healy's just not quite fast enough. Fusion University are gonna have to reset here, look for the next engage. We'll have triple support ult for this upcoming fight, along with the Diva Bomb, which are all great. Coalescence, a surprisingly good ult versus this triple DPS setup here. Allows a lot of sustain, allows that damage and the focus.
Wakid under really heavy pressure, falls! A little bit out of position, Fusion Uni punishing. Bernard, finding Bernard on the other side, and the Coalescence for Alarm, out. Gen.G down 2. It's going to be very difficult for them to maintain any sort of presence on the point, but the problem is, it's 99% to Fusion Uni. Someone needs to get over there in a hurry, and Creative's going to use the Transcendence to buy a bit of time, but this is so awkward for Gen.G. Oberon, going to roll back over, continuing to contest. Glister finds Alarm, EMP invested by Wuyall. This is the time for Gen.G to move forward, but the beat comes out from Fusion Uni. Keeps Fusion Uni still in the fight, but Beasttail down, still contestable. Elk back down, looking for Mercy on the other end. Fusion Uni, more people on the point. They deal with Bliss and they finish it out.
And that did look salvageable for Gen.G if it weren't for Elf making sure to be out of the LOS of the EMP. Gets insane value there with the beat. Gets some early isolation, gets a pick. Also make sure to isolate the Mercy. So well played from Elf. Fusion University making the good swaps there, coming back in, working off their time bank. Now we're tied up 1-1 here. Both squads, Fusion Uni, Gen.G. We're moving into our third and final round of Busan. And so far, it's sort of been a game of Gen.G goes triple DPS, and then Fusion Uni just swaps. Now, you could argue there for that first round that was just Fusion University flubbing their ult economy, so they lose it. But on that second round right there, I think they had a much better chance. They had a much better job there. They didn't flub their ults. They played it very safe, played it very soundly. And Gen.G is going to have to find some more. They're going to have to find some more value here.
And this is the first full mirror matchup that we're seeing to start out around. So it's going to come down to, in particular, what the Widows and Bars are doing. Still, potential pickoff opportunity. Almost gets Wakid, but just can't quite land it on the head. Gen.G gets the opportunity to reset, but Fusion Uni already going to be getting some space from this.
Right now, no one wants to be the first to fall to that Widow. You see the angles being played by both Flex Supports, Alarm, and Creative, just making sure not to get caught. Oberon, after getting hacked, getting finished off there. And without a Hammond to really put the presence there to get any sort of engage as well, this will be Fusion University taking the first point, taking the first fight. Because losing Hammond first means you have no zoning.
Beast Halo might have gone too far. Beast Halo cannot fall here. Barely able to get away at 100 HP. That was far too close. Fusion Uni, though, gonna hang on. Gen.G looking for the reset, and nice. Significantly outbuilding Wuyall here so far.
Glister will find Alarm, though. And with Alarm down, this is really Gen.G's cue to move. This is a huge ult off the field with Nano. So impactful in this Triple DPS setup. And
Creative just took a rocket. Bernard finds him on the other side. The Ana play between both teams equalized. Beast Halo, though, down. Glister continuing his on the other side, and they made enough space for Creative to be rezzed. Gen.G in a much better spot here so far. They get the flip. Bernard's gonna fall.
Now Fusion Uni, they're still fighting for the point, but Gen.G, they have a good angle. You see Glister playing these flanks, but Bliss down with the Alarm also using that Nano. It's gonna be the reflip happening right here. The Oberon's available, he's alive, he's on the point, he has mines. As they're all there, bye-bye, nice.
Oh, that is a rough alarm clock. Beast Halo, though, gets two back on the other side. Both Hammonds pressuring, both getting a little bit, but for now, it's still Gen.G in control of the point. They're looking for a little bit of extra delay, trying to milk as much time off the clock as possible, even a fight that's been going more towards Fusion Uni. And the best case scenario would be if they could get EMP up. Bernard's down. Fusion Uni, though, they do get the reflip.
Did not get the EMP out, so we're looking at an EMP versus EMP fight for both squads. It's really a question of, are there any picks for the Widows before? Can they set up a great EMP here? Because EMP, it's a good ult, but against Triple DPS, it's hard to find value.
EMP used directly to the back. Alarm. The one to fall first. Gen.G diving in off it with the fire tracer, and it's working out well. They get two picks immediately. Fusion Uni doesn't have the best response to it, so this should be a quick reflip for Gen.G.
Great setup there for Gen.G. They're even able to find the res. Some delay happening for Fusion Uni, and I really like the swap with Glister onto the Tracer. Now, especially if they want to get value from an EMP, because it's much more effective than having him on the Widow in terms of cleaning up, especially if you can find that back line. So Gen.G, they're going to get the flip off that EMP, off that dive. Fusion Uni going to make some swaps of their own. No more Mercy. No more Pharah. Instead, going to put Bernard onto the Brigida. So looking to play a little bit slower here, potentially. Maybe even actually look to just protect Pocket Snillo here.
It's a slower style that's putting a lot more faith into Snillo. And Snillo using the Infrasight, going to be hunting Wakid on the other side. Wakid wisely staying away from him. No! Goes for the barrage, gets nice, but ends up paying the penalty. Snillo all over it, but here's the problem. The res is right there. Wakid brought back into the fight. Snillo falling out on the ground here. Fusion Uni still in a rough spot for the retake. Gen.G a little bit wounded, but enough tools to delay. 80% to 70 right now. Gen.G in the lead. And Fusion Uni trying to decisively remove Gen.G off the point right now, but it's difficult. The fight's broken down a lot. Glister into the backline, deals with Ana. Both teams down Ana, but it's Glister that's doing so much work in Tracer with 3!
Glister still finding these frags, but now Fusion Uni, they have to commit. You see the time bank for Gen.G. They need to be fighting. They need to continue to contest here. But they're getting picked off one by one as Glister. He's done so much. Beast Halo, he was there trying to make the space, trying to find the frags. But the reload failing him there in the end, just taking away a lot of that time as Glister cleans up everything.
Glister and Oberon just not letting Fusion Uni reset at all for a composition that, as we said, was a little bit slower. Now Fusion Uni desperately trying to get back in, but Gen.G having none of it. Every cleanup kill going their way. It's 99 to 70. This is going to be map 1, hanging the way of Gen.G.
And that was scrappy. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It was very, very scrappy there. An interesting swap. A very interesting swap there for Fusion University, where they decided to put Bernard onto that Brigida. and then just play the let's pocket Silo game. And let's play the pocket Silo game, but without a Mercy anymore. So I find it an interesting swap there. They were definitely relying on Silo very heavily there to find those picks, but in a situation where the time bank was already stacking up for Gen.G, they're in a full dive scenario with the triple DPS. It seems like it's something that kind of hard to find value. They needed Silo to get a lot more picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something where they just thought, hey, maybe we're going to be running Bernard here, and Bernard will contain Glister. Well, guess what? The containment didn't happen. And as a result, Gen.G is up 1. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Fusion University continuing to have a rough road here in Korea. The undefeated Gen.G taking them down on Control, where, don't forget, as we were talking about in the intro, part of Fusion Uni's success when they were in North America is that they didn't lose Control. Well, guess what? They lost Control here. And as a result, the rest of the series is looking fairly grim for them.
I mean, it is sort of the variability of Control, though. It's something that we've talked about a lot in that Control. Honestly, it's very momentum-based, especially when you're in a more triple DPS-centric meta at times on Control for a lot of these teams. It's sort of just like, who's popping off right now? So it's definitely a much different game as we move away from Control into the other game modes. I think that we'll see probably a little bit more, obviously a lot slower gameplay, and we'll have a lot more reliance on the swaps, the hero chests, and the ult economy. But definitely not a super good look for Fusion University to start out with. But Gen.G's been looking very, very good, though. They've been looking like a very solid squad. So I think losing Control is not the end of the world for them.
No, not in the least. And, I mean, the problem for Fusion Uni, and figuring this out here, is that Gen.G, of course, is one of the resurgent stories that so far is undefeated, and they've taken map 1. But for Fusion Uni, if they want to get to the gauntlet later in the year, they have to get top 3, so they have to beat one of these top teams at some point. But next map, it's going to be Volskaya is where we are heading into. And this is where the entire hero chest dynamic gets even more in-depth, where if you guess wrong or just have a really bad composition on Assault, well, you might just lose the map outright.
And Volskaya is definitely that map of hero chests, like we were talking about. It's definitely a map that enables hero chests a lot more, especially for the offensive team, where they can see the defense go back, swap, pick a comp that's a little bit more appropriate there, while the defense is playing a little bit more proactively rather than, you know, actually acting in response. So we are getting in here now to Volskaya, with Gen.G currently up 1 over Fusion University now. And I think the narrative that's really important to be talked about, that you touched on there, is that Fusion University, they need to beat a good team. They need to beat a top team now, or a team that's doing very well, at least, to create contenders, for them to actually have a chance. Because it's one thing to make playoffs, it's a whole nother to get far enough to where you can make the gauntlet.
Yeah, and I mean, making playoffs is sort of a small concession if what you do in playoffs is get eliminated immediately. And thus far, you look at Fusion Uni, all right, you've beaten WGS. Well, guess what? So has everyone else. And
they went to map 5 with WGS, so yeah. It's a questionable win at that.
It's been a tough baptism for Fusion Uni, and I will say that I don't think the meta has necessarily been great for Fusion Uni. I think the recent surge to DPS-centric comps has taken away some of what they've been good at, where they perfected more 3-3 style setups with small flex adjustments, and now we're in a realm of chaos, and to a degree, they're just losing DPS battles, and you saw that last map where Glister just simply went off.
Well, the reality of going a more DPS-centric meta is, you know what goes down in power the more DPS heroes you have? Your flex support. You know what Alarm does for Fusion University? A lot. He does a lot for them. And so anything that nerfs Alarm nerfs that team. But Gen.G now on this offense here for Volskaya, you see a little bit of Bunker, the hook getting pulled out first, Creative finding Alarm.
Well, the old oink and yoink gonna strike early. Alarm down, and easy. 6-on-5 here for Gen.G. Fusion Uni already in a really tough situation. They're gonna need Nice to do disproportionate amounts with the Pharah, but Gen.G, they're just walking out to the point. They're not being removed.
It's fine here for Fusion University to give up some ticks. They just can't lose any more picks. They can't lose anyone else here right now, but with Beast Halo down, they have no shield. Even with Glister going down, the point control is firmly within Gen.G. They have the tanks, they have the pick off.
Oh!
Wakid, beautiful arrow. There is going to be a res, but it's too little too late, I think.
The arrow from Wakid, devastating. Fusion Uni, they're able to head back onto point to a degree, but it's just, they've lost too many people here, and Creative has been on fire.
Creative definitely having a better look here at the hog duels. Now the problem is for Fusion University is that, sure, they got some extra time off the clock there with that res, getting BCL back in the fight. Also had Bliss pop that Valk, but Gen.G can move in here with one of the most impactful ults currently when you see a Hog Orisa setup, especially a mirror, is having Supercharger. Supercharger early for the intro, along with Wuyong being close to this bomb, is going to be massive.
Also, I'm not necessarily a fan of the Genji that Fusion Uni has swapped here, but Creative, down. Alarm able to get a little bit of revenge.
Oh, great ball.
Right down and in! Gonna be taking down 2, Wakid continuing to assail Fusion Uni. The resurrection on the Creative, and this one's done. This is a super quick attack coming in for Gen.G.
That was a beautiful ball from Overon there to pull the ball into Wakid's Dragon Strike, and Wakid, Overon just have been so vital. The Creative long getting his opening picks despite going down first there. So that was Fusion University not at all at any point winning this Hog Orisa matchup. And the thing is, that's so important here when you look at a more bunker-centric composition, especially on 2C, especially on Assault, is that losing first pick is disastrous a lot of times because of all the position you have to give up. Especially depending on the pick, you can lose just a huge amount of shield presence. And that's just something that when you're already in a snowball scenario, it just can't happen.
I think you brought up in the early fight there, probably the most important point to understanding Fusion University. I think it's a really good one, and if people haven't run with this as a narrative, they should, is that you're exactly right in that Alarm is the most impactful player in Fusion University, always has been since their inception. But this particular meta, especially when you're seeing compositions like 3 DPS and more, it's a bad time to be a support. So if you're nerfing the best player on Fusion Uni, it explains a lot for some of the issues that they've been having.
It's just really a fact. Back in the day, there was a little bit more of a structure in place for triple DPS when Soldier was still in place. You could play a lot more peel-centric style for your flex support, especially with Zen. We saw it sort of perfected by Rogue. But nowadays, you're not really playing Soldier. You don't have a biotic field to keep your flex support alive from dives, especially in the chaos that is now New Sombra, where you could have a stealth assassin uncloak at any time and just remove you from the game. So very, very tough for Fusion University. You're going to have to make some adjustments. Even in the setups where they're going to play more of a Junkertown type of comp, where they're having Alarm, having that flex support, play the Hog, which you're seeing here right now with Elf, the solo heal on the Lucio, it's still not Alarm's preferred hero, as they're going to go back and swap it.
Yeah, they're going back to swap.
Getting the full 3 setup here.
They've gone back in time. It's 3-3 for Fusion.
No, granted, you look at Gen.G's composition here, you see that Oberon on the Winston and Creative on that Ana. It's just a better mirror match. It's just a better matchup here for Fusion University playing this in, playing the Rhine. They can look to punish Oberon a lot more heavily.
So Fusion Uni coming in through the gates right now. Oberon under a lot of heavy damage, able to get out with 42% charge. Not the worst opening, but Fusion Uni also, they're pretty healthy. They can just charge directly into point.
Even with the anti, he just only catches beats. He's still full HP, essentially. Their goal is to catch Oberon whenever possible, maybe get the flex take, maybe try to catch Wuyong as well. This Fusion University, they're moving towards the point, trying to find any sort of anything.
They got delayed a bit there. And as a result, now there's a real chance that Primal Rage is going to be up for Oberon. Oberon just going to be moving on in, 85%. Fusion Uni a bit split up. Elk in danger. Elk getting super, super low here. And the Biodate strikes the back. Gen.G can just dive in on this. But
Gen.G won't commit. They won't commit. They won't commit there. It's too far away. They have the cool on the Fusion University. Now they're going to hinder from this high ground again. Great sleep. Look at Oberon getting his placement.
Just completely throw in, still going to be into the lake. That was excellent primal control in from Oberon. And already about 2 minutes burned off the clock for Gen.G and Fusion Uni. I think they had a chance there, but they just didn't commit, and Gen.G was able to reset.
I mean, right now, this is quintessential how to get value out of Winston on first. They were able, Oberon did not die. He was able to get Primal there for the perfect setup there to remove the barrier for the nade. They get the displacement they needed and the environmental kills. Now, with the Primal gone, this is where Fusion University, they need to try to enter. They're going to back up here, run away from the Nano, not allow Oberon that chance to farm Primal, but they need to enter here. They need to take the fight to point while they have grab. They have grab, just take the fight to point.
Fusion Uni gonna be rotating up the right side, but this is a long time-consuming rotation. They're getting poked down as they go for it. Gen.G still with plenty of ults to win the next fight, and this is do or die for Fusion Uni. They must win this fight as they trade out ults. Gen.G still waiting, and Oberon gonna open up with the Primal here. Graviton, Eden, Wuyong just takes out nice grab. The grab in from Gen.G, Fusion Uni all stuck together. They have the barrier, they walk back, they're not done yet. So they're able to deal with Gen.G's combo, but they're very far point. They're trying to deal with Oberon, but instead they lose Snillo.
Alarm's going to commit to Transcendence here in this fight as well, but they're already down players. The Shatter's out. Can they clean up anyone? They are going to find Bliss. Blister is down, and I think finally now Fusion Uni in this chaos, they should survive as long as they keep Alarm healthy, or at least trade his picks
Raid
out.
boss.
So they do have Raid Boss, but it's done. The fight's already over.
Is it over though?
It is. We bomb. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, they had to use Grav Bomb, so if it was over, it was still over to the sense that Fusion Uni had to invest even more. Gen.G's final surge there got rid of any chance of Fusion Uni having big snowball potential for point B.
That is definitely the biggest loss for Fusion University, is that yes they get the first, but they do not have that snowball control. Exactly what you talked about there. They're gonna have to move in here. See Gen.G swapping Oberon now onto the Rhine, creative onto the Xin, so deciding the mirror matchup here, which is perfectly fine considering they already have the time make advantage. They know Fusion University does not have any of their big ults yet. They can just play the slow play the mirror.
Fusion Uni gonna start walking onto the point, challenging Gen.G. Probably going to wait for Rally. Rally now up. I expect them to just Rally, walk over. We all know super low, and they're gonna have to Rally as we all get demeched. Rally's about late. The Shatter in from Beast Halo. It's a good one. Fusion Uni taking down Gen.G, and Gen.G sluggish in reaction there, and it gives a big opportunity to Fusion Uni, and this should be point B.
That was a great setup there for Fusion Uni. Even though their time bank is worse, I think that was probably the best case scenario for them to win the fight right there off of Beast Halo's Shatter. So great Shatter from Beast Halo. Seeing the opening, definitely sluggish for Gen.G to react, especially with the rally advantage, with the Dima Bomb in their kit. They have some options there to set up to get to the defensive, to open up.
I feel like they wanted to wait to top off Wuyall before going on the rally engage. They wanted to make sure everything was good, and instead of popping Rally when they had the chance, which probably would have kept Wuyall alive, even though it would have been as ideal, Wuyall ends up getting demeched, and then they panic Rally. And then while all this is going on, Beast Halo goes, I see you're open to an Earth Shatter. Hello.
And the Earth is shattered. So saith Beast Halo. And that is the second cap. By the way, Fusion Uni, though they do have a worse time bank here. A little over 3:40 in the clock. I imagine for this offense, they're probably going to run out here initially on the 2-3 again. They might keep nice on the Sombra. They might not. It really depends. The great thing about Sombra is that it gives you much better snowball potential per second, but at the cost of you have a little bit of a weaker neutral game here on first, especially if Overwatch is going to be on this Winston. It's more of a question there, can Nice find a great value hack early on this entry? Because Gen.G are not going to let them in for free, especially with Nice on the Sombra. There's a lot less damage on the field for Overwatch to worry about with those RA.
I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan of them moving in with the Sombra here, just because it is probably going to be a slower play, and they're already behind in time where they might be swapping.
I think they're going to go 4-3-3 again.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I like this a lot more for Fusion Uni because they need a decisive first fight early. If they waited the 2 minutes for a good EMP fight, which is likely, I just don't think they're able to turn the map.
See now as Fusion Uni enter, they use their bubbles with Elk isolated. A little bit behind the rest of the squad. He's going to get booped in by Bliss and then get picked up by Oberon. Fusion University have done the hard part though. They're in the point and Alarm's alive. So Elk can always zoom back.
However, Gen.G, they want to finish their plate. They're going to go on in, look for one more, or at the very least, just get Oberon closer to a primal where they don't have to finish off Fusion Uni here. And yeah, Elk can get back in, but Oberon's at 60%, and that's the real prize.
Though Fusion University, if they make this cross here to the Mega Pack, Oberon's effectiveness is limited a lot more than if they were on the opposing high ground because of the environmental hazards there. So a much better position for Fusion University right now that they're on the point and they're not in a flank that Oberon can get max primal value with.
Oberon's going to go for the primal. He's built it up, primal's up, and it's going to be disruption in the Mega Pack room where, you're right, it's not as deadly as the environment, but it's still disruption, and yet, Wuyall gets demeched. Oberon unable to get enough done there. And now down to D.Va. This is actually a little bit tough for Gen.G. Fusion Uni fully healed up, able to dominate the point, and Fusion Uni in a much better spot now.
Gen.G, they look like they want to commit on this fight. They're going to drop the grab here as well. Blister's down, Wakeed's down. They even invested the nano. This is really bad for Gen.G, considering now they're probably going to want to keep Oberon on the Winston because he's close to primal just for the delay on the set following point. Moving to Ryan means he just gets run over now by a double support ult. Or even Bernard's bomb just making him forced to move. This is a rough situation to be in for Gen.G, and they were going to make the swap. Put Oberon onto the Ryan, put Creative onto the Ana, hopefully to get some value, get an early nano.
well, they knew the risks, and the reality is the last fight was all or nothing, and now they have to deal with the nothing as Fusion Uni moves in with a gigantic advantage. Gen.G gonna drop the beat. The only real thing they have here is they wait for Wuyall to get bombed. Fusion Uni already 2 ticks on the point. Gen.G desperately trying to milk time for any tools that could be coming up mid-fight. Wuyall, the bomb is ready, and they have to hope that's a good one. Fusion Uni still in a good spot. They're holding on to double support ult still. Bomb out from Wuyall. Beast Halo takes opposition off on the run. Oh, that was a little bit cursed.
What a beautiful play from Oberon. That was a beautiful play from Oberon. It was actually the only winning gambit in that situation. He was under so much pressure. The bomb was out. He not only gets they remove Beast Halo with the charge, but also removes the barrier setting up the bomb.
This is absolutely tragic for Fusion Uni. Everything was going in their favor, but the charge from Oberon completely shifts the fight. And as a result, Fusion Uni still in a good spot ult-wise, but nowhere near as guaranteed as it was before.
Especially with Gen.G coming up on that grab, coming up on the nano, they're going to have a lot of ults to sustain this coming fight. A lot of this going to be on the synergy between Beast Halo and Bernard. Can they get value from Bomb? Can they look into anything with Shatter?
Shatter goes down, hits Creative, no one else. Meanwhile, Fusion Uni stuck in the grab. They have to beat, but it's a much bigger Shatter from Oberon, taking down 2. And Gen.G repelling Fusion Uni. The advantage of Fusion Uni is gone, and they have to be kicking themselves that they're even stuck in this situation. Where Gen.G essentially threw everything to try and win point A. It failed, and somehow they defend point B.
Oberon is just chomping upon Beast Halo. I mean, right now, this is sort of a mismatch in some ways. Beast Halo, he's had some good moments, but Oberon consistently finding far more value, both in the Winston play and now here on last with that Ryan swap, even when he was down in ult charge. Gen.G owe a lot of this to the value from Oberon.
Keyed looking for the basher over the top, no Shatter to go along with it. Gonna initiate with the rally. Fusion Uni on some point. Beast Halo just getting abused from all angles. Transcendence can be used to keep him up. Graviton invested by Fusion Uni. Blister already down. The bomb from Bernard. Big off the Graviton. And Fusion Uni not out of it yet. So the problem is they're not gonna be able to finish here. Wait, no, they're not gonna be able to finish the time. It's hard to tell because my screen was pixelating. All of it was like, do they have enough time? And no, not quite. So it's an overtime finish for Fusion Uni, which better than not finishing at all, but a pretty big edge to Gen.G now.
Gen.G with over 6 minutes on the clock, though it is only 1 second over the 6 minutes, but still a pretty big time bank to cap 2 points with, especially if you look at their last offense as any example. Fusion University, if they're gonna want to play, if they want to play this mirror matchup, if they want to play the mirror matchup with this Hog Orisa, they most importantly need to be ensuring these hook halt combos are getting value. And that's really what fell apart for them in the last defense. It almost might just be safe for them to play 3-3, or maybe even a 3-2-1.
Well, they're gonna be running out with Alarm on the Hog again, as they did on their first defense. And look, we didn't necessarily see the full impact of the Fusion Uni defense where, all right, there was a really good halt hook to start with, Alarm died, and as a result, the fight was basically over because Gen.G just could bully Fusion Uni at that point. This could work out differently if Alarm is not caught early, but Creative was also incredibly good on the Hog the first time around.
And Gen.G looking like they're all on a very similar offense. They might not keep Glister on this summer. They might swap him to the Widow if they decide to just mirror matchup here. But Sombra could still be equally good. Yeah, Glister is going to go back, play this double. So it is a complete mirror matchup between the squads here. Very important to watch these combos that are coming out.
Particularly halt hook. It's what defines the setup in Orisa Hog versus Orisa Hog. And again, a good hook by Creative, and now it's Beast Halo. His turn to hit the dirt. There's not going to be shields up anymore, and this gives Creative full reign with the hooks. And this is incredibly bad for Fusion Uni. No more shields to defend. Nice gonna fall, and again, a super quick point A take from the hook from Creative.
Glister will get picked by Silo, but it doesn't matter. The point is in full control for Gen.G, and that was just possibly one of the most impactful hooks you get in this setup, is be able to get the Orisa. With the Orisa gone, you lose the ability to sit in front of Gen.G. Fusion University lose entirely the chance to even take the fight, because without that shield, without that halt, you can't sit in front of the hook halt combo. You can't sit in front of the double sniper. You just lose that war every time. And now Fusion Uni, they swapped. put Elk onto the Zen alarm, or Elk onto the Zarya, the Lucio. I can't speak for the Lucio.
Fusion Uni push back. Gen.G looking to finish us out. Fusion Uni, they're gonna have to delay for an incredibly long time here. 5 minutes of clock. Beast Halo already down, taken out super early. And now Creative, again, a lot of room to work with. The D-Mech comes out, and Gen.G bullying up the point. That's it.
It's done. There's nothing that Fusion University can do here. Gen.G was walking in with a huge ult advantage, with the pick advantage again. The Bongo is such an impactful ult when you're walking into an ult neutral fight with Fusion University. They had none. They had 0 ults. And Bongo by itself is great, but with the Valk, with everything else, Fusion Unity just could not hold on to the point there without a support ult.
So, technically, it is not over yet. We go to the age-old classic. It's drawable. But the reality is that Fusion Uni, why are they in the hole they're in right now where Gen.G has 4.5 minutes on time bank? It's because they have not been able to win a single fight on first. So for them to make this a draw, they would have to win multiple fights on first all in a row without losing one. Not likely with how this has gone.
Very, very unlikely. Especially with just how synergistic Gen.G had looked playing the Creative in particular on the Orisa Hog. Fusion Unity, they're gonna have to play something different. I think they just take the risk and don't play the Orisa Hog mirror. They're getting outmatched. This is a scenario where you can play 3-3. You can play 3-3, you're gonna force them off of Gen.G, off of their comp. But it looks like they're not gonna try it at all. They're gonna go here once again for the oink and yoink. The double sniper as well. But as of right now, there's really been no examples to set that Fusion Uni are going to be able to compete here in this mirror.
Gen.G is just better at setting up in the neutral, and Creative is better at taking advantages of hook opportunities, even relative to Alarm, where Alarm is a great flex support, and I don't think his Hog is necessarily bad, but clearly getting outperformed by Creative right now.
So now Gen.G entering here, entering from the point. Glister looking for these angles, looking to try to catch a sniper. Right now, the halt is out for Fusion Uni, so Gen.G are going to take this opportunity to move forward. Whenever a halt is out, whenever the halt is gone, that is sort of the tempo. That's the pace here for these comps to move forward. Or if the hook is also out. Those are the cooldowns that both teams are watching.
Gen.G making good space, and the McKeed caught. Halt hooking their side, but again, another good halt hook. Beast Halo down, and that's a much better trade for Gen.G. They even get the res on McKeed. Gen.G at to full strength. Beast Halo though, res somehow. That resurrection is allowed, and Fusion Uni might be able to pull this back. The halt setting up nice on the other side. And that is incredible. Fusion Uni turns the fight.
There's really just Alarm finding that counter hook. See another stagger to continue on. We also very important for Fusion Uni to win that fight, to stay in it. And that's the type of fight where it's okay to trade your Orisa in that fight because Alarm had the counter hook. He got the counter hook. He was able to get the punish. Snillo finding an early pick onto Glister, going to delay this push a little bit for Gen.G. They're probably just going to res. That's exactly what they do. And this is exactly what they needed.
So, Fusion Uni, still 3 minutes left to defend. And the Dragon Strike, Eden, Wuyall get denied that bit of pressure. Fusion Uni, Gen.G moving up the right side. Raise the shield up. Halt out. No combination hook out from Fusion Uni, and Gen.G resetting a little bit.
Inversight's going to wear off very soon for Snillo. Now Gen.G going to move back in, going to try to place that. The hook, catching Oberon, but all the Matrix there to save him, to get him out. His Elk's going to Valk.
Oberon just walks away. Valkyrie in progress for Fusion Uni.
Early
super low. Supercharger out. The hook does not connect off the halt. And Snillo again gets Bliss to the opposite side. Snillo starting to come alive here on Volskaya, and if this is going to be drawable for Fusion Uni, this is what needs to happen. They're halfway there.
Gen.G, though, they know they should only be playing for one fight. Even though they have the Supercharger and the bomb for this upcoming fight, I think this is another fight they don't commit. They don't commit here again. Beast Halo won't get Bongo in time. They should take another dry fight. They should take it fast and try to get one more ult on a Fusion Uni. Maybe even see if they can force their opening and then commit the Supercharger here. Because they only have to play for one fight, CP. They only have to play for one fight. But it looks like they're going to commit the Supercharger. They're going to go for it early, set it up, and there's the bomb out.
Charger, and Oberon down again. Fusion Uni having much better execution on this so far, but Twister finds out one person that cannot be rezzed. The Dragon Strike right down the middle. And Gen.G still pressing here. Alarm, though, finds Bliss on the other end. Fusion Uni wounded. Beast Halo super low. And yet, Fusion Uni getting the better of the exchanges here so far. And they might be able to buy time for Elk to get over to the point. As Gen.G, they're down to their final minute 20.
Now this is 100% holdable here for Fusion Uni. 100% holdable. Wakid will find nice, but they're going to have Elk back with the res. Gen.G have used every ult in their setup. They weren't able to find anything from that bongo, from the supercharger, from that Diva Bomb. And now they're making a swap. Going triple DPS. Actually, it's going to be quad. It's still triple DPS, but still only one healer with creative staying on this hog, even with Oberon on that Hammett.
Keep getting caught. This is looking really good for Fusion Uni now. Only 1 minute left to defend. Down goes Wuyall. Gen.G looking disheveled, disrupted. And this draw, you could have expected it coming with how Fusion Uni got rolled over twice in a row. But third time might be the charm.
Alarms finally come alive here on this hog. A lot better success being had for Fusion Uni now in this composition. Gen.G, they have to make a full swap here again. They're going to put Wuyall onto the Diva. They're making all these swaps that are completely ult neutral fight into a bongo, into a Valkyrie. This is almost impossible to win for Gen.G in a lot of ways, unless we see an incredible sleep, maybe a nade or a hack. Something crazy has to happen.
Fusion Uni has Gen.G in checkmate right now. They need a huge mistake from Fusion Uni for them not to win this. The Valkyrie, Supercharger both used, final 10 seconds. Oberon down, man advantage of Fusion Uni, and the draw very likely in sight as Fusion Uni has just fought this back and then some. Gen.G getting mopped up on the point, and that is incredible! It's a draw! And that's not normally a phrase I use, but that was a very incredible draw.
And that's where the phrase comes into the fact, a separate phrase, drawable. Very drawable there. And we have to credit a lot of this into Fusion Uni finally coming alive there, and I think Gen.G sort of flubbing their win condition. They flubbed it. I think there's no other way to describe it other than a flub. They had plenty of time to take another dry fight there, to have another ego push when they had the bongo, when they had their bomb, and just force another ult out of Fusion Uni. But instead they commit, they don't get the value they need, they didn't have the setup they needed, they bongoed extremely early. Just not what they needed there out of this ult.
Well, they were playing. You think about it, they're playing the house money. They only needed 33% on point. They had more time than what you normally have to attack Volskaya, and they just did not connect on any halt hooks after doing so brilliantly the first two attacks. But as a result, it's only 1-0 here at the half. Fusion Uni looking for the comeback. Are they going to be able to do it? We'll find out in just a few minutes.